affected, and both of them can also transmit the condition. So as you can see dito sa ating pedigree, no, couples 1 and 2, both of them were affected. So no question, mapass on talaga yan sa next generation.
Hello.
Okay, so I'm so sorry. Can you hear me now? And can you see my screen?
Yes po, Doc.
Yes, Doc.
Yes po, Doc.
Okay, sige, sige. Sige lang, I'll just make this discussion quick so that you can start with the reporting na. So saan ba tayo nag-stop dito sa characteristics ng ating ano no? Characteristics of people with autosomal dominant disorders. No? So, I believe that group 1 have already seen this image. No? This is a person with Huntington's disease. So, Huntington's disease, no, is a disorder that can be passed through autosomal dominant inheritance. So, again, as I've mentioned, usually late talaga ang presentation ng disease sa ating autosomal dominant disorders. No, and then variable ang kanyang presentation, meaning if out of 4 siblings, dalawa nag-manifest ng sakit, not all of them will have the same manifestation. So pwede no that the other one, no, that the other one is ano siya, full blown no ang kanyang Huntington's, the other one pwede na mild lang yung symptoms niya. And may exception tayo no that pwede na maging index patient ka or index case ka ng family mo. So meaning your parents or grandparents, they are not affected but the disease manifested sa iyo kasi ikaw ang first case sa family niyo. Okay, so here is a list no of the different autosomal dominant disorders. So some of this you will report later. So the next one no is your autosomal recessive traits. Okay? Yan. So for the autosomal recessive traits naman, nag-black ang PowerPoint.
Yes, Doc.
Sige, we
Yes
will
po.
Wala po.
Yan. How about that? Klaro na? Wala pa rin.
Wala gihapon, Doc.
Wala pa po.
Sige. How about that? Ara na?
Yes,
Doc.
Doc.
Yes po, Doc.
Okay, sige. Okay. So next is autosomal recessive disorders, no? So same pa rin, no? The genes in question are still located sa autosomal na chromosome or gene, no? And since recessive naman siya, 'di ba sabi natin you need two, no, alleles in order for a certain phenotype to occur, no? So dito, as you can see in the diagram, no, couples 1 and 2. So affected si father but the mother is unaffected and this is a uniallelic na trait ang meron sa father. Thus, yung kanyang children hindi affected, no? However, the firstborn son married an affected woman. Thus, no, the trait will be passed on now sa kanilang son, no? Or pwede din namang sa female kasi wala namang sex predilection. But in this pedigree, no, the trait has been passed on to the brother, no, or eldest son. Okay? So if you take a look naman sa couples 3 and 4 natin, the mother is affected. So since 'di ba yung pairing kasi ng chromosomes ng girls is XX at saka XY ang sa male. So higher chance of having a biallelic, no, na trait na makita mo sa females. Thus, even though the father is unaffected but the mother has 2 copies of alleles sa kanya, na pass on pa rin yung trait sa kanyang children, no? Now, the second born son then married affected female. So, napasa niya sa kanyang mga anak kung anong trait or disease ang meron sila. Okay? While in couples 8 and 9, Doc, unaffected naman yung parents. So, paano naging affected yung next generation? Kasi, di ba sabi natin, you need 2 alleles in order for a certain trait na makita siya sa, or na ma-express siya as a phenotype. But still, even though 1 allele ka lang, napapass on kasi yung genes. No? So if you take a look, kasi si couple 1 and 2, meron siyang one allele na napass niya sa kanyang anak, and then the other one naman, sa biallelic na trait, although unaffected yung isang anak, pero still napass on ng isang allele sa kanya ng kanyang mother. So 1 plus 1, no, from each of the families, you still have 2 alleles. Thus, no, in the next generation ng couples 8 and 9, the disease has been expressed. Okay, gets lang? Are we clear?
Yes, Doc.
Yes po, Doc.
Okay, sige.
Doc.
So, going to the characteristics naman ng ating autosomal recessive na mga traits or diseases, no, even though the parents will not be affected, no, it can be seen sa yung mga siblings. So, out of 4 chances, no, out of 4 siblings, meron talagang isa na pwedeng mag-manifest ng trait. No, from pwede din tayong magkaroon ng skip generations, no, since it is a recessive trait. Then, that is why sabi nila, cursed ang mga incest or consanguineous marriage kasi lahat ng sakit na nasa pamilya lumalabas, no? Which is true by the virtue of autosomal recessive inheritance. Okay? Yan. So, comparing it with AD or autosomal dominant diseases, the autosomal recessive traits or diseases, they usually are expressed uniformly. Meaning, kung may may Ehlers-Danlos ka na ganito yung manifestation, yung kapatid mo na may Ehlers-Danlos, same manifestation kayo. So if you can see, no, this guy, Gary Turner, won the Guinness World Book of Record for being the stretchiest man alive kasi meron po siyang Ehlers-Danlos. No, so if ang kapatid niya affected, no, stretchy din yung kapatid. Of the mutated genes na meron sa mga diseases na to, they encode for enzymes. So thus, if you can see in this table, no, most of the diseases with autosomal recessive inheritance are metabolic in nature. So ito sila yung mga tinatawag natin na inborn errors of metabolism. Okay? Sige. The last one is your X-linked disorders or sex-linked disorders. So from the word itself, no, sex-linked meaning, no, it has sex predilection. No, only males can be affected and females are the carriers. So the males, the affected males, no, they cannot
Excuse me po, Doc. Naputol po imuhang tingog po, Doc.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Doc. Po.
Sige, we're done with the lecture na. You can proceed with your reporting, group 1. You can share your screen na and please have a concise reporting no so that we can cater all the reporters until 4 p.m. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are the Group 1, and the topic that we are going to tackle today are the following diseases: the Huntington's, the achondroplasia, the familial hypercholesterolemia, and the hereditary spherocytosis. Next, please. Huntington's disease, a genetic illness known as Huntington's disease, is typified by the gradual degradation of brain nerve cells. Huntington's disease, sometimes referred to as Huntington's chorea, is a genetic neurological illness that impairs an individual's ability to move, think, and behave. Huntington's chorea is a genetic disorder which affects the functioning of the brain, and it is a medical condition and a type of a movement disorder. Huntington's disease is a neurodegenerative disease that is mostly inherited. HD is usually developed in affected individuals between the age of 30 to 50 years, although there is a form that affects children called juvenile onset Huntington's disease. Next, please. Pattern of inheritance. HD follows an autosomal dominant inheritance pattern, meaning that a person with one affected parent has a 50% chance of inheriting the mutated gene responsible for the disease. The condition is caused by a mutation in the huntingtin gene on chromosome 4. Autosomal, meaning the gene is present on an autosomal chromosome. In the case of Huntington's disease, it is present in the chromosome 4 on the short arm. Dominant means only one copy of abnormal gene is needed to cause the disease in an affected person, inherited from either of that person's father or mother. Pathophysiology. Mutant huntingtin or MHTT is an aberrant protein produced as a result of an unknown gene mutation, particularly in the cerebral cortex and basal ganglia. The buildup of MHTT in neurons results in cellular dysfunction and ultimately leads to cell death. Aberrant protein refers to a protein that has deviated from its normal or expected structure and function. Early signs of Huntington's found in the basal ganglia. Next slide, please. Clinical diagnosis. The clinical diagnosis of HD is usually based on a combination of the individual symptoms, family history, and genetic testing. A neurologist or genetic counselor can help assess and confirm the diagnosis. The following clinical diagnoses are: first, neurological examination for motor symptoms, sensory, and psychiatry. Second, neurophysiological testing for memory, reasoning, and language skill. Third, psychiatric evaluation for the emotional state, patterns of behavior, and signs of disordered thinking. Fourth, brain imaging and function test. It is for assessing the structure or function of the brain. The imaging technologies may include the MRI or CT scans that shows the detailed image of the brain. Fifth, genetic counseling and testing. This test can confirm the diagnosis. And last, the predictive genetic test. It is a genetic test that can be given if you have a family history of the disease but don't have symptoms. This is called predictive testing. Ikaw na, Zai.
So, signs and symptoms. The signs and symptoms of HD can differ greatly from person to person and develop gradually. So, first is the involuntary movements, which is the chorea. These movements are often unpredictable and can impact a person's ability to control their body. Next is the cognitive decline. Cognitive, de- Cognitive decline is a common symptom of HD which can lead to difficulties with memory, thinking, and problem solving. Next is the psychiatric disturbances such as anxiety and depression. And, psychiatric disturbances are also frequently observed in individuals with HD. Anxiety and depressions are particularly common and can significantly impact a person's mental well being. So, next is the balance and coordination issues are common symptoms. Balance and balance and coordination issues are often experienced, making it challenging for individuals to maintain stability and perform tasks that require precise movements. In addition to the physical and cognitive symptoms, individuals with HD may also exhibit noticeable behavioral changes. This can include irritability, mood swings, and personality shifts. These changes can be distressing for both the person with HD and their loved ones as they can significantly impact relationships in everyday life. So, it is important to note that the signs and symptoms of HD can vary greatly from person to person. Some individuals may experience more pronounced motor symptoms, while others may be more affected by cognitive or psychiatric symptoms. The progression of the disease can also vary, with some individuals experiencing a more gradual decline while others may have a more rapid deterioration over so HD is a complex condition that affects multiple aspects of a person's life. Understanding and recognizing the diverse range of symptoms associated with HD is crucial in providing appropriate care and support for individuals living with the disease. Next is wait lang po. Diagnostic and findings. So, when it comes to diagnosing Huntington's disease, genetic testing is the primary method used by the healthcare professionals. A blood sample is taken to analyze the HTT gene for the presence of the mutation. The number of CAG repeats in the gene is counted, with a higher number of repeats correlating with an earlier onset and more severe symptoms. So, genetic testing is this involves taking a blood sample from the individual and analyzing it for the presence of a specific mutation in HTT gene. The mutation is characterized by an abnormal number of CAG repeats with the HTT gene. These repeats are segments of DNA that consist of the nucleotide bases cytosine, adenine, guanine, and guanine. The more CAG repeats present in the gene, the higher the likelihood of the developing HD and experiencing earlier onset and more severe symptoms. During sa genetic testing process, the blood sample is truly examined to determine the number of CAG repeats in the HTT gene. This count is crucial in assessing the risk and prognosis for the individual in the number of CAG repeats exceeds a certain threshold, typically 36 or more. It is considered a positive result of HD. Next is the treatment. Since there is currently no cure for HD, symptom management and quality of life enhancement are the main goals of treatment. Psychiatric symptoms, abnormal movements, and other related conditions can manage with medication. Occupational and physical therapy might be helpful in preserving independence and mobility. Counseling and support groups are examples of supportive care that is crucial for impact people as well as their families. Remember that this is a simplified overview of Huntington's disease because of the complexity of the condition, each patient should receive personalized care tailored to meet their unique needs, seeking advice from medical experts who are knowledgeable about HD is essential for a precise diagnosis and suitable treatment.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Karen Faith Bizar, and together with my partner, Mr. Kahayag, we will be presenting achondroplasia. So the definition of achondroplasia is it is a genetic disorder that results in short stature and is the most common form of dwarfism. It is typically caused by a mutation in the FGFR3 gene affecting bone growth and development. So kaning FGFR3 gene kay mao ni siya ang nag-provide og instruction for making a protein called fibroblast growth factor receptor, which means if mag-mutate or maapektuhan ang ato ang growth ay if maapektuhan ang FGFR3 gene, maapektuhan pod ang ato ang growth and development. Next, please.
For the pattern of inheritance, achondroplasia is an autosomal dominant disorder. This means that the affected individual has a 50% chance of passing the mutated gene to their offspring. Most cases occur as spontaneous mutations in families without a history of a disorder, and also approximately 80% of the cases result from spontaneous mutations occurring during gamete formation. In the pathophysiology, the mutation in the FGFR3 gene leads to the overactivity of a specific growth plate, which inhibits normal bone growth and results in dwarfism. This results in shortened limbs and a characteristic appearance with a large head and a prominent forehead. Next, please.
Clinical diagnosis. So the first one is the physical examination. Diagnosis often begins with a clinical assessment by a healthcare provider. Typical features include short stature, disproportionately short arms and legs, and a prominent head. Family history. A family history of achondroplasia or other skeletal disorders like kanang mga scoliosis or unsa ba uh, can be an indicator. So next one is the genetic testing. Confirmatory diagnosis is often made through genetic testing, which identifies the specific FGFR3 mutation. So the signs and symptoms of achondroplasia are obviously the first one is the short stature. Individuals with achondroplasia have significantly shorter stature compared to the average population. The next one is the proportionate dwarfism. The trunk is typically of average size while the limbs are shorter.
Next slide. As a continuation for the signs and symptoms of achondroplasia, there are also the characteristic facial features, which includes a prominent forehead and a depressed nasal bridge and a mid-face hypoplasia. Along with it are the bowed legs, which the legs may appear like curved or bowed, and also some individuals may develop spinal stenosis leading to back pain and potential neurological issues. For the diagnostic findings of achondroplasia include shortened limbs, a large head and a prominent forehead, a flat nasal bridge, distinctive spinal abnormalities, and genetic mutations in the FGFR3 gene.
So there are different kinds of treatments for achondroplasia, no? And isa na ana kay ang management of complications. Achondroplasia can lead to medical complications, including spinal issues like spinal stenosis and sleep apnea. So kabalo naman jud ta nga delikado jud ang sleep apnea kay mao na siya ang disorder na nakakause sa imuha nga mag-stop ka og breathe while you sleep. So which may require medical intervention. So second is the physical and occupational therapy, kanang mga PT, and these therapies can help individuals adapt to daily challenges associated with short stature. And lastly, surgical interventions. Some individuals may require surgical correction for spinal or limb abnormalities.
As a final note for achondroplasia, it is crucial for individuals with achondroplasia to have regular medical follow-ups to address any complications or concerns associated with the condition. Management focuses on improving quality of life and addressing specific medical issues that may arise. That is all. Next.
So, familial hypercholesterolemia, the definition of this is hypercholesterolemia is a medical condition characterized by abnormally high levels of cholesterol in the blood. Cholesterol is a fatty substance that can build up in the walls of arteries, leading to the formation of plaques and an increased risk of heart disease and other cardiovascular problems. There are both genetic and lifestyle factors that can contribute to hypercholesterolemia, and it is typically managed through dietary changes, lifestyle modifications, and in some cases, medication. So, it is the medical term hypercholesterolemia is the medical term for high cholesterol. So your body needs some cholesterol to make hormones and digest fatty foods. Next slide. Pattern of inheritance, autosomal dominant inheritance, familial hypercholesterolemia, which is the most common type, follows an autosomal dominant pattern of inheritance. This means that if one parent carries a mutated gene for FH, there is a 50% chance of passing it on to their child. Individuals with one copy of the mutated gene have significantly increased risk of high cholesterol levels and related health problems. So in pathophysiology, treatment and management of hypercholesterolemia typically involve lifestyle changes, diet and exercise, and in some cases, medication to lower cholesterol levels and reduce the risk of cardiovascular events. Next slide, please. So in clinical diagnosis of hypercholesterolemia involves a comprehensive assessment of the patient's medical history and risk factors. A physical examination is performed to identify signs of cardiovascular disease such as blood pressure and symptoms. A blood lipid panel is obtained, requiring fasting to measure total cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, HDL cholesterol, and triglycerides. The results are compared to established guidelines to determine if cholesterol levels exceed recommended thresholds. Risk factors like age, gender, family history, and smoking are considered in assessing overall cardiovascular risk. Additional tests, genetic testing, and imaging studies may be ordered based on clinical presentation to refine the diagnosis and guide treatment decisions. So it is based on routine blood analysis to check levels of bad cholesterol, which includes triglycerides and low density lipoproteins. So the signs of and symptoms of hypercholesterolemia is chest pain. Some individuals may experience chest pain or discomfort known as angina due to reduced blood flow to the heart muscle. Second one is heart attack. Severe or prolonged reduction in blood flow to the heart can result in a heart attack, leading to symptoms such as severe chest pain, shortness of breath, and sweating. Third one is stroke. Reduced blood flow to the brain can cause a stroke, leading to symptoms like sudden numbness or weakness in the face, arm, or leg, trouble speaking, and loss of balance or coordination. Peripheral artery disease, narrowing of arteries in the legs can cause pain or cramping in the legs during physical activity. The last one is St. Thomas. In rare cases, individuals with extremely high cholesterol levels may develop St. Thomas, which are fatty deposits under the skin, typically around the eyes, on the elbows, or on the hands. But the only way to tell it is through a blood test looking at your lipid levels.
For the diagnostic and for the diagnostic in the diagnostic process for hypercholesterolemia, various elements are evaluated. First, we have the patient's medical history, is encompassing factors like age, gender, family history, and smoking. Also, is crucial for assessing cardiovascular risk. And a physical examination is conducted to detect sign of cardiovascular disease, including elevated blood pressure and symptoms. Also, a fasting blood lipid panel is obtained to measure total cholesterol or LDL cholesterol or low density lipoprotein and HDL cholesterol, which is a high density lipoprotein, and triglycerides, providing comprehensive insight into the patient lipid profile and aiding in the diagnostic of hypercholesterolemia. For the treatment and management of hypercholesterolemia involve a dual approach: lifestyle changes, including dietary modification to reduce saturated fats, regular exercise for cardiovascular health, and quitting smoke. It plays a crucial role. Additionally, medications such as statins and other cholesterol-lowering drugs may be prescribed to mitigate the severity of the hypercholesterolemia, aiming to lower cholesterol levels and minimize the risk of cardiovascular events. Next. Based on the diagnostic findings and clinical assessment, if the patient blood lipid panel show abnormality high levels of total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol, along with the other risk factor, a diagnosis of hypercholesterolemia can be made. The treatment plan will then be tailored to the individual's specific condition, including lifestyle changes and, if necessary, medication with the goal of reducing cholesterol levels and minimizing the risk of heart disease, stroke, and other cardiovascular issues. Close monitoring and follow-up with healthcare professionals are essential for the long-term management of hypercholesterolemia.
Morning, everyone. I'm Adrian Yano. Now I'm going to report the hereditary parasitosis. So, other names for this condition are congenital spherocytic hemolytic anemia, congenital spherocytosis, HS, spherocytic anemia, spherocytosis type 1. Definition. So, hereditary spherocytosis, genetic disorder characterized by defect in the proteins that maintain the shape and flexibility of red blood cells. This results in a change from the normal biconcave shape to a more spherical shape, making the cells more prone to premature destructions, particularly in the spleen. Hereditary spherocytosis condition characterized by hemolytic anemia. Symptoms can range from mild to severe. Some people with severe form of hereditary spherocytosis may have short stature, delayed puberty, and skeletal abnormalities. The condition is caused by genet- genetic changes in any of several genes, such as the ANK1 gene that attaches to other membrane proteins. FPB42 has a role in erythrocyte shape and mechanical property regulation, as LC4A1 provides instruction for making protein known as an ion exchanger. It's a common defective gene in Korean children. And SPTA1 functions in the determination of cell shape, arrangement of the membrane proteins, and organization of organelles. And lastly, SPTB genes functions in stability of erythrocyte membranes. Next, please. Next. So patterns of inheritance. The disorder usually follows an autosomal dominant pattern 75% of the time due to mutations in ANK1, SPTB, or SLC4A1 in approximately 90% of cases. And however, in some cases, it can manifest in an autosomal recessive manner 25% of the time uh, due to mutations in SPPA1 and EPB42, requiring next is pathophysiology. HS is primarily caused by mutations in genes encoding proteins involved in the structural integrity of red blood cell membranes, especially spectrin. Spectrin provides crucial support to the cell membrane, and its alteration leads to reduced deformability, resulting in the early removal of red blood cells, particularly in the spleen. Next slide, please. Uh, Clinical diagnosis, signs and symptoms. So, anemia. First is anemia, the destruction of red blood cells leads to a shortage. Next is jaundice, increased breakdown of red blood cells releases bilirubin, a yellowish pigment that is made during the breakdown of red blood cells, causing yellowing of the skin and eyes. Enlarged spleen, the spleen works overtime to remove abnormal cells, causing its enlargement. Fatigue and weakness, common symptoms of anemia. Gallstones, increased bilirubin levels contribute to gallstone formation. Other symptoms of hemolytic anemia may include feeling that your heart is pounding or racing, feeling dizzy, problems concentrating, and headaches. Next slide, please. So, diagnostic and findings. So, first is peripheral blood smear. A microscopic examination of blood cells reveals the spherical shape of red blood cells. Next is bilirubin levels, elevated due to increased breakdown of red blood cells. Next is osmotic fragility test. This test measures the sensitivity of red blood the cells to osmotic stress, revealing increased fragility in HS. Treatment. First is folate supplementation. Since red blood cells have a shorter lifespan, additional folate helps in their production, blood transfusion, and splenectomy. Lastly, monitoring and supportive care, regular checkups and supportive measures to manage symptoms and complications. Right. Next. So, early diagnosis through a combination of clinical evaluation and blood tests is crucial for effective management. Tailored treatment plans and close monitoring help individuals with HS lead relatively normal lives. Additionally, genetic counseling can provide valuable information for families affected by this inherited condition. That's all. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Group 1. Now we will proceed with Group 2. So, hello? Hello? Hello, guys. So,
Yes,
congratulations, Group 1, no? So, good job in presenting. Um, sa next succeeding groups, no, please have a concise na lecture. Only give the key points, no, kahit sa overview lang ng mga medications, no, and management, kasi hindi pa naman ano yan sa level ninyo. The most important part there is the pathophysiology and for you to appreciate how each disease is transmitted. Okay, so let's be concise so that makaabot na tayo ng dalawang groups na mag-report. Good job, everyone. And please remember, no, the genes that are affected. Okay? Sige. Continue now with two. Thank you.
Excuse me, everyone. Visible na ba ang PowerPoint?
Yes.
yes.
Thank you for the response. May I ask for the first reporter po sa group to proceed?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nahar Gabriel. Together with my partner, Florence Limsan, we will talk about cystic fibrosis.